right, you guys, so this is a question that I've been getting most often. How do I know the right decision to make? And especially in this year, 2020, there's so much going on and it feels like we're being bombarded from side after side with new circumstances and situations and what's happening in the economy and so many different things. And one thing that I want to lead you to is something that a book that I recently found. It's called The One Thing. Thank you, Lauren Golden, for telling me about this. If you guys have heard The One Thing, put it in the comments, I want to hear. But there's a book called The One Thing, and essentially what he talks about, there's one really important concept that he talks about that I love. And he starts to highlight the difference between what he calls a to-do list versus a success list. And a to-do list is all the things that you could do. Like, oh, Kathryn, do you want to do that? Yeah, I could do that. Or like, hey, Kathryn, do you want to be a part of the summit? Yeah, I could do that, right? So to-do list, all the things you could do. Success list, all the things that you should do. Like, what should you actually do? And I think one of the determining factors between could and should is, in order to determine what you should be doing, you have to know what your number one objective is for the year. You have to know, because everything will filter through that. And I think so often as we're trying to make decisions and everything's bombarding us, and there's so many people trying to get us to buy their product or trying to get us to join their programs, you have to get super clear on what is it that you actually want. Like, straight up Noah from The Notebook, like, what do you want, right? Like, people don't actually take the time to answer that question. And because they don't take the time to answer that question of what do you actually want, you don't even have the headspace or the capability to determine what you could do versus what you should do. Because when there's haziness around what you're actually going toward, the coulds and shoulds get really, really fuzzy. So step number one of knowing how to make the right decision in 2020 is you need to get very, very clear on what is the one outcome that you want. I just watched this IGTV from Rachel Hollis, who I love, and she has had kind of a crazy, really hard year. And one of the things she said at the end that I thought was like so amazing was she said, I am determined to look back on 2020 and have it be an epic year, not because of what happened to me, but because of what I chose. In the sense where she's like, how do I look back on 2020 and not have COVID-19 be the thing? Like, how can I create 2020 to be this beautiful thing? And I think so much of that becomes around intentions and intentionality in terms of what is it that you actually want. And so again, how to make the right decision in 2020, figure out what you want, and then get so adamant on protecting that and ridding yourselves of the could do's and only doing what the should do's. And that way, whatever's happening in the world, you're able to stay focused with your effort and you're going to see an ROI, regardless of whether that's in business or in life or in relationships, if you stay true to that. So how to make the right decision in 2020? Actually know what you're going after. Separate the coulds from the shoulds.